Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm gonna introduce a way that how to build the virtual environment on your laptop. And you can use this virtualization system, the environment, to finish some simple exercises like the Juniper, Cisco, and firewall configuration, about that stuff. So before I start, I like to introduce some simple concepts. So I made this mind map, and this is our concepts of how to build this virtualization system. And before we start, we should to know the software that we used. And this is the GNS3 and EVNG. So we have two softwares that these software are in charge of simulation. So in this video, I will introduce the GNS3, but I'm using EVNG currently. So these are all the VM operating system. So next is about the virtualization. We have so many different kinds of stuff we can use: the VirtualBox and VMware and Microsoft Hyper-V. And these three are the software-based, which means they can be installed in your Windows system. And then you can install the GNS3 and EVNG on that VirtualBox or VMware. And Proxmox and VMware ESXi, they are hardware-based, which means they can be installed bare metal. So that's the difference between them. And yes, maybe some of them, this still can be installed bare metal, but I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. It's not my point. Next is about the preparation. If we know the concept, which means we have to install the GNS3 and EVNG on some operating system, or we should install them bare metal, but we only have the laptop, so that's not suit for us. And after that, the preparation is about the host requirement, which is our laptop. And we have to enable the function of our CPU, AMD, the name is this, and Intel name is this. So we have to enable these features in the BIOS. And after that, we have to ensure the memory. Yes, the memory is the most important thing for us, because if you don't have enough memory, maybe you only can use one or two virtual devices like Cisco or the firewall, only one, because only one firewall needs 8 gigabits. And next is about the system. Yeah, you have to disable the memory integrity, because if you enable that, and the virtualization system cannot use every capacity of your laptop. Okay, and the next preparation is about image. So we have to download the Cisco, Juniper, and firewall, no matter you name it. Yes, we have to download the image, and then we import these images to GNS3 or EVNG. I recommend you to use a tool like MobileXterm or PuTTY, or yes, like that, and to control and configure the virtual device. Okay, this is the preparation, and next is the process, which is today's video focus on. And host setting, which means we need to configure our laptop, and then installation, about the configuration and import the image, how to do this, and how to build a very simple demo, and I will show you. And the last step about issues, I think I will make a single video to introduce every issue that I faced. Don't worry about that. If you encounter any problem, remember to view my video. Okay, let's start. This is the web page, and we can download GNS3. And you can see I have downloaded every image and the installation. And this is a Hyper-V, and this is Cisco. And we should use all of these images after we install the GNS3 on our laptop. And you can see this is the download web page. And yes, if you want to download that, you have to log in or create a new account. And you also need to download this VM. Because, yes, I introduced this, right, at the beginning of this video. And I want to install this in my Microsoft, the Hyper-V. So I need to select the correct version. And before we use that, we have to ensure that we installed the Hyper-V and we enabled this function in our Windows. Okay, then we open the Hyper-V, and you can search for the keywords to open that. And you can see this is the GNS3 VM for Hyper-V. And we create a new virtual machine and make a new name, GNS3. And there are two options. I select generation 1, and this is memory. You can type it. Yeah, so I use 8 gigabits. And this is the configuration about the networking. And then this is very important to select the first VHD file here and next. Okay, this is very simple, right? But you still have to do another step. And you must ensure these options are on check and add a new, the second part of that, right? So you can see we only have one, and we added a new hard drive and select the second one, which is this one. Yes, there are two parts. Okay, so we added this one, and here we go. Okay, we started. You can see it's running, and you can connect to the GUI. Okay, so you can see it's done, but you can see the EVM support available is false, which means it's not good. So we just shut down it and configure it in the PowerShell using this special command. Yes, I will paste this to the content of this video. Okay, you should change the VM name to we configured GNS3. Okay, so that's okay. And we start it again. And connect. You can see the key VM status is true. Okay, so which means you can use this one. So after we install this GNS3 in the Hyper-V, and then we have to install the client on our Windows. Because we've installed the VM, the GNS3 VM, we don't need to check that box. So just next, 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 and next. Okay, done. You don't need to check this. Okay, after we install the GNS3 client, we just launch it. and we have to do some initialization stuff about config the parameters, the server parameters, the path. And there is a window pop out, and you don't need to worry about that. Like this, you just close that. And there are two ways to config that. First is about the setup wizard, and select the first one, but sometimes you may face the arrow, but it doesn't matter. Like this, you just click OK and close that. And you can config this stuff from another way. Edit preferences and GNS3 VM, enable this and select Hyper-V, and then you can see the system we installed, and the name is GNS3. Okay, ensure these settings and click OK, and you can see this is your virtual machine here, and it's online. And just wait a moment, you can see the percentage of the CPU, yes, like this. And next step, I'm gonna import the image to GNS3, and we have two ways to import image. First is still here, the preferences, and yes, you can import it directly, and you can name it, and yes, just next and next, okay. But this is not a good way, because if we use this way, we have to config the parameters, the hardware manually. And this is the second step, use the template. And this is the easy way, and I highly recommend you to use this way, because from the template, the configuration is already there. So just select this, the second option, and yes, here, this is the Cisco. We need, and we import, and we select the image that I have, like this. Yes, the first one. Okay. You have to ensure the name and the size of the file. And next, you can see. But you must select this line and click next. And wait a moment. Okay, we have our first Cisco router, and you can check the configuration. And here, the slots, I select this one because I need 4 ports, and you don't need to change anything about this. Just keep it default as default. And yes, you can change the name of that. Okay. And you just drag it out to the window and right click, start. And you can see the status is online, and just double click. And yes, everything is here. Okay, and let's show the version. Okay, you can see all the information here, which means we imported this successfully. Okay, let's do some simple commands. And interface, we can set an IP address here, right? All the command is the same with the with the physical device. And we set an IP address here and no shutdown, and you can see the information here, prompt like this, okay? And let's show the IP address and the route, right? So that's done. Okay, next step, I'm gonna import the Juniper image. And before that, you can see there are different categories here. Switches is here, and there are different kinds of default devices here. And this is actually, it's a hub. You don't need to config that. It's a bridge. You can use this to connect different devices and without any configuration. So we use the template again, and this time we will select the Juniper, and we have to import these two. So first we import RE, and the same way we have to select the version. I have the 20 version. So yes, it's up to you. If you want to import another version, just select that. Okay, and this is my version, and I selected the 18. So I need to select the matched thing here, and you can see, wait a moment, uploading. Okay, done. And yes, you must select the line and then click next. Okay, you can see the instruction here. And connect the first interface EM0 to the admin VLAN. So I will introduce that. Don't worry about that. So this is a simple instruction of how to use the Juniper switches in the virtual environment. Yeah, that's very important. Okay, so we imported the first of it is RE, and we need another one because they have the different function. The next one is, this one, PFE, and the same way, just keep it default. Because we are using the template, right? So we don't need to worry about the hardware configuration. We just select the matched version of this. Yeah, just wait a moment. Okay, done. And let's check the configuration here. First, this about the RAM and the CPU, just keep it as default. And the adapters, here is the PFE, just keep it default. You don't need to change any stuff here because we are using template, right? So this is the CPU and the RAM of the RE switch, and the adapters, it's 12. And I recommend you to change the port name here, because if you don't do this, you cannot recognize which port is which port between the configuration and the topology. So I just keep the first 3 as default and change the rest of them as the configuration name. So x-0/0/0 like this. Let me show you a simple topology of the first configuration, and maybe you will encounter this arrow. Yes. So I'm not sure if this is an issue about the template, because when I checked the prompt and it said that cannot find the parameter like this, so I just checked the configuration. Yes, I can see the options command, it's there. So I think this is a problem. So if you are using the template and encounter the same issue, and don't worry about that, we go to the configuration and just delete that. Okay, so this is the troubleshooting. And after this, we just drag it to the window again, and we have to connect them with the EM1. So you can see this is a port name. Okay, and just start it. I want to do this. I want to use a clock that to demonstrate how long will it take from the beginning to it's ready. Okay, so it's online, and you can see it's booting. and wait a moment. Okay, after about 1 minute, we can see the prompt finally, and it asks us to log in, and we can use the username root with the password Juniper capital J. So we can use CLI to access the command line mode, and we still need to wait. And let me show you why. When you are using the show chassis FVC, you can see the slot is empty. It's not online. And if you check the interface, and you cannot see the physical port there, not yet. So you still need to wait. And during this booting process, you can see there are so many prompts here, like this, which is good. Okay, so if you don't connect the RENPFE switch, you cannot see these prompts. So after about 7 minutes, you can see it's online, and I made the time step here. Okay, let's check the interfaces again. You can see all the physical ports are there, which is good. Okay, 7 minutes for me. It depends. It depends on your configuration about the Hyper-V, right? So before we use that, I recommend you to delete so many extra configuration, because you can see these ports, the name like this, we don't need them because they are the configuration in the Juniper OS. We don't need that because we config the adapter, the ports, the number of the ports. So we delete them before we use that. We exit and use this command. I will show this command in under my video. And yes, I want to delete this. You can see there's 72. Oh yes. And then the other one, yes, delete 300. Okay. And don't forget, commit that. Okay, so edit interfaces, you can see nothing there except the EM0 and EM1. And you still can see all the physical ports here, which is good. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do some testing stuff. I'm gonna config the VLAN, the physical port, and the interface, and config the IP address and test it. Yes, you can see I'm just copying and pasting the command from my text file to the terminal. Yes, you can see show compare. These are my configurations, and commit that. Okay, done. And let's see the configuration after we config that. And this is my IRB, and this is my physical port configuration. And next, let me ping that. Okay, next, let me ping this physical port. Okay, I'm gonna do another test from my VPC, and to show you if you face the same issue and how you can fix it. Okay, so you can see this is the VPC, and you don't need to config that. And just double click, start and double click, and you can see this is the IP address of my switch. And if we use the question mark, we can see there are so many commands here, and I will use this one to config the IP address on this VPC. And after that, maybe I cannot ping to my switch. Let me see. Okay. IP address done and ping. No, I cannot ping. And you know why? You know why? I must reboot the switch, Juniper switch. And it's very tricky. You cannot just power off it and power on. You cannot. You must use a command. Request system power off or reboot. And after you reboot, and wait 7 minutes, and wait it's online, and then you can ping. So let me show you the reboot process. Where is it? Where is it? It's here, right? After this prompt, please press any key to reboot, and then press any key. And wait 7 minutes, and then try to ping again. You can see, wow, it's there. Okay, and then let me add another VPC. Okay, and connect them to another port that I configured. Start it, double click. It's here, and configure the IP address first. Okay, and then let me ping. Okay, beautiful. So you can use this to finish maybe your assignment, your lab, or do some exercises about how to configure